What's up, y'all? Gene here, Double S Podcast, at Double S Podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe. Don't forget, smash it. Hey, shots fired, opinion. Yo, there's something, a little momentum shift is starting to take place. It's something that makes me very, very happy. You know my view that I don't like, and I reject the notion that using the terms liberal and conservative as insults, okay? Because that's stupid. These are good words. These are good principles to have. They're two, sometimes they're very much opposing, and they're two sides to a story, but that's what we need, right? To have good conversation, a difference of opinions is okay. What I don't support is the extremes, the far woke left bullshit, or the far, end is nigh, far right bullshit. I don't deal with those groups. Like Heritage Foundation Project 2025, that's far right ideology. Ridiculous. Bullshit. Okay? But there's a momentum that's starting to occur here for the Democrats, and I'm actually very pleased to see it, because it needs to occur for them to gain ground back. Because unfortunately for them, they've allowed the spoiled brats, far woke side to be the only voice. Thus, why you have so many people using words like libtards, or if Democrat is in and of itself is these days a real sketchy thing to be called, because of who they're letting have the microphone. But there's something that's going on where you're starting to see liberals and Democrats push back against these far left ideologies and these principles, namely in the LGB community. Note, I left two letters off of there because it's those two letters that are hijacking a lot of years of effort and progress that the lesbian, gay, and bi communities have worked very hard to achieve, which they should have, and that is equal playing field. The right to operate freely who they are, do what they want to do without persecution or discrimination of any kind, including, in my opinion, being able to marry each other. Nothing wrong with that. These are United States citizens. Their orientation is none of anybody's concern, and it's usually not that group that's trying to shove that parade down your face, or trying to, get you to redefine common sense, legitimate biology standards. It's not that LGB section of that alphabet soup. It's that last two. And you're starting to see more and more very proud members of the LGBT community come out and push back against it. And they're basically telling them, shut up, stop it. Because all you're doing is fueling a hatred now, mob mentality, right? That's all that it's basically doing. You're also getting a few people, namely some pretty big names in the liberal world, such as comedian and talk show host Bill Maher, who is pushing back and saying the fact that no, the extreme far left is not liberal. That's not a liberal mindset. And he's exactly right, because they have more intolerance built into their whole philosophy than any of the ideologies that are out there. More so even than the far religious right. At least the far religious right won't immediately label you as, these horrible piece of crap, no good belly button lint of society. No, they just, pretty much damn you to eternal damnation and leave it at that. But the far woke culture is one of the most intolerant groups, even to its own would-be supporters and people on the inside, man. And so you're seeing these prominent liberal and democratic names starting to push back and starting to try to distance themselves from that. What needs to happen now is the Democratic Party as a whole needs to do that. Salvage your party, otherwise your party's dead in the water. And literally, I'm telling you this, you're allowing the Republicans to completely annihilate you, and they don't have to say a word. All they have to do is go, look, see? Told you. Literally, you're doing it to yourself. Over and over and over again. Take this from somebody who runs right down the middle, who fancies themselves a conservative liberal. You look really bad right now. And even people inside your own party are starting to push back. There's one thing you can definitely say about the Republicans. They're not afraid to disagree with one another, call each other wrong, and continue on down the same street. Democrats, you can't do that. If somebody disagrees with you inside your own party, you isolate them, you shove them out, you label them, you start running the script, call them a nut job, call them this, call them a crackpot, label them with all kinds of stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's what you do to these people. Over and over and over again. And this is a non-biased opinion, just watching this stuff from the outside, taking it as it is. So, you know what? I am in 100% full support of the LGBT community to push and squeeze out the far left ideology that is trying to interfere, stepping into public policies, and screw around with kids mentally, physically, when it comes to this whole gender ideology piece that is just ridiculous. Like I said, what that's going to do is fuel a far right side that's going to shit on all of the entire LGBT community and just completely erase a ton of progress that has been made in this country for that group and that section of our citizens in America. Anyway, that's the opinion. Tight lines, y'all. See you.